The notification popped up on my laptop at 1:47 p.m. on a Tuesday, a shared photo album invitation from my wife Emma's iCloud account. I almost ignored it, thinking she'd accidentally sent me something meant for her book club. Then I saw the thumbnail. My hand froze on the mouse. The preview showed Emma, my wife of 11 years, mother of our 2 daughters, wearing lingerie I'd never seen before, black and expensive looking, in what appeared to be a hotel room. The angle suggested she hadn't taken the photo herself. I sat there in my home office, the quarterly sales report I'd been reviewing suddenly meaningless on the screen. Outside, I could hear our neighbor's lawnmower. Inside, my pulse hammered in my ears. I didn't click it. Not immediately. Because once I did, I knew something would change forever. The Schrodinger's cat of my marriage, simultaneously alive and dead until I opened that box. My name is Tyler Bennett. 41 years old, regional sales director for a medical supply company, living in Scottsdale, Arizona. 2 kids, Olivia, 9, and Sophie, 6. A 4-bedroom house with a pool we barely used. A golden retriever named Biscuit. The whole American dream package. I clicked. The album contained 43 photos spanning what looked like 3 months based on the metadata. I knew because I checked every single detail with the methodical precision I usually reserved for contract negotiations. Hotel rooms, nice ones, probably the Phoenician based on the distinctive desert artwork. Emma in various states of undress. And in 17 of those photos, a man I'd never seen before. Younger than me, maybe 35, with the kind of lean, athletic build that came from actual gym time, not the occasional jog I promised myself I'd do more often. They weren't just sleeping together. They were documenting it, celebrating it. There were selfies, her head on his bare chest, both smiling like teenagers, photos of champagne glasses, one of them in a restaurant I recognized, an upscale Italian place downtown where I'd taken Emma for our 10th anniversary last year. The final photo was time-stamped 3 days ago. Sunday afternoon. The same Sunday, Emma had told me she was going to her sister's house to help with a garage sale. I sat back in my chair, staring at the ceiling fan making its lazy rotations. The logical part of my brain was already cataloging facts. The shared album was clearly a mistake, probably meant for the guy or for a friend she was confiding in. Emma had no idea I could see this, which meant I had information she didn't know I possessed. The other part of my brain, the part connected to my stomach, which currently felt like it was filled with battery acid, wanted to scream, to put my fist through the monitor, to call her right now and demand answers. I didn't either. Instead, I opened a new folder on my desktop, labeled it Tax Documents 2019, and began systematically downloading every photo. Then I checked the metadata more carefully. The guy appeared starting in photo 12, dated February 18th. 3 months ago. Before that, there were photos of Emma alone in what looked like the same hotel, same room number visible on a door in the background, 1247. She'd been planning this, preparing for it. I heard the garage door open downstairs. Emma was home from her part-time job at the interior design firm. I glanced at the clock. 3:15 p.m. The girls wouldn't be back from school until 4:00. Tyler, her voice called up the stairs. You home? I cleared my throat. Yeah, in the office. Footsteps on the stairs. She appeared in the doorway, blonde hair pulled back in a ponytail, wearing the navy dress I'd always liked on her. She smiled, the same smile I'd woken up to for 11 years. How's your day going? She asked, leaning against the door frame. I'd minimized the photos, but they were right there, 1 click away. She had no idea. Fine, I said. My voice sounded normal, steady. Finished the quarterly report. You? Oh, you know, Mrs. Patterson changed her mind about the curtains again. She rolled her eyes. 3rd time this month. I swear that woman can't make a decision to save her life. She was good. Natural. If I hadn't seen those photos, I'd never suspect a thing. How long had she been this good at lying? Hey, I was thinking, she continued, maybe we could do date night this Friday. That new steakhouse opened up near Kierland. Ashley said it's amazing. Ashley, her best friend since college. I wondered if Ashley knew. If she'd been covering, providing alibis, helping Emma sneak around behind my back. Sure, I said. Sounds good. Emma smiled wider. Great. I'll make a reservation. She pushed off the doorframe. I'm going to start dinner prep. Chicken, okay? Perfect. She left, her footsteps retreating down the stairs. I heard her in the kitchen, humming something. Actually humming. I pulled up the photos again. Studied the man's face. He had a tattoo on his left shoulder, some kind of tribal design. In one photo, Emma was kissing his neck, her hand on his chest, her wedding ring clearly visible. My wedding ring felt heavy on my own finger. I needed a plan. Confronting her right now, emotional and unprepared, would be stupid. I'd spent 15 years in sales learning that information was power, that timing was everything, that you never showed your hand until you'd stack the deck. I opened my browser and started researching divorce attorneys in Arizona. Then I paused. Deleted the search history. If Emma was checking up on me, and clearly she was capable of deception I hadn't imagined, I couldn't leave traces. I'd use my work laptop, keep everything separate. My phone buzzed. A text from Emma. Don't forget Sophie has soccer practice at 5:30. I typed back, got it, thanks. Then I returned to the photos, studying them like evidence at a crime scene, because that's exactly what they were. The scarf sits on Emma's side of the closet floor like a piece of evidence I wasn't supposed to find. I'm reaching for my winter jacket, the one I haven't touched since March, when I spot the burgundy cashmere half buried under a pile of her boots. We're heading to Buffalo next week for Emma's cousin's wedding, and I'm checking what winter clothes survived the Arizona heat storage. The scarf shouldn't be there. Emma's meticulous about her things, especially the expensive pieces. This one cost $200 at Nordstrom last Christmas. She wouldn't just leave it crumpled on the closet floor. I pick it up, and that's when the smell hits me. It's not Emma's perfume, that light floral thing she's worn for years. This is masculine, aftershave, sharp and woody with something citrus underneath. Definitely not mine. I wear the same drugstore brand I've used since college, and this is something else entirely. Something expensive. I bring the fabric closer to my face and my stomach does that familiar drop I've learned to recognize over the past 3 months. The scent is strong enough that whoever wore this cologne was close to her. Very close. The kind of close where fabric absorbs smell through prolonged contact. Emma's at yoga. She won't be back for another hour. I take the scarf to my office and spread it across my desk under the lamp. The cashmere is pristine. No stains, no visible marks. Just that smell, clinging to the fibers like an accusation. My phone shows 10:47 a.m., Saturday morning. The girls are at Olivia's friend's house for a birthday party. I have time. I grab my keys. The men's fragrance section at Nordstrom smells like a chemical warfare testing ground. I've been here 20 minutes, systematically working my way through the display bottles, spraying test strips, and comparing them to the scent memory burned into my brain. The sales associate, a kid who can't be more than 25, hovers nearby. Looking for something specific, sir? Just browsing. I move to the next display. Tom Ford, Dior, Versace. Then I find it. Acqua di Parma Colonia Essenza. The moment I spray the test strip, I know. Same sharp opening, same woody base, same citrus middle notes. I've smelled this before, somewhere outside my house, somewhere recent. I buy the smallest bottle they have, $85 for 50 ml, and head to my car. Sitting in the parking lot, I pull out my phone and scroll through Emma's Facebook photos. She's tagged in dozens from the past few months. I'm looking for something specific now. Office events, work parties, anywhere her colleagues might appear. There. Posted 6 weeks ago by her firm. Spring mixer at the Gladly. 23 people tagged. I zoom in on faces, studying the men. There are 5 of them in the group shot, all clustered around a high-top table with drinks. I screenshot the image and text it to myself, then open it on my laptop when I get home. Enhanced on the bigger screen, I can make out details. One of the men is significantly older, probably the firm's owner. 2 look like they're barely out of college. But there are 2 others, mid-30s, both in that carefully casual business attire that costs more than it looks. One of them I recognize from Emma's Instagram stories. She's mentioned him before. Working on the Pemberton project with Derek today. Derek found the perfect tile for the Henderson kitchen. Derek something. Derek who apparently wears $200 cologne. I open a new browser tab and navigate to the interior design firm's website. The Our Team page loads, and there he is. Derek Lawson, senior designer. The photo shows him in a charcoal blazer, dark hair styled with just enough product to look effortless. Smile that probably makes clients think he's their friend. The same smile from the party photo. The same build as the man in those hotel room photos from 3 months ago. Lean, athletic. I can't see his shoulder in the headshot, but I'd bet money there's a tribal tattoo under that blazer. My phone buzzes. Emma. Picking up groceries on the way home. Need anything? Me. We're good. I look at the scarf, still spread across my desk. Then at Derek Lawson's professional headshot. Then at the bottle of Acqua di Parma sitting next to my keyboard. The pieces fit together with the same methodical precision as those first 43 photos. Emma didn't just share an album by accident. She's been careless in other ways too. A winter walk alone in Buffalo. That's what she told me when she came back from her cousin's bachelorette weekend in February. Said she needed air after all the wedding planning talk. Came back to the hotel with rosy cheeks and that scarf wrapped around her neck. I remember now. She wore it to dinner that night. Kept it on even though the restaurant was warm. Said she was fighting off a cold. She wasn't fighting off anything. She was covering up. Sunday morning. Emma's making pancakes, humming something I don't recognize. The girls are still asleep. I've been awake since 5 a.m. planning. I walk into the kitchen carrying the burgundy scarf. Hey, babe, Emma says without turning around. Blueberry or chocolate chip? I don't answer. Instead, I move behind her and drape the scarf around her neck from behind, arranging it carefully, almost tenderly. She freezes, spatula suspended over the griddle. What are you? Found this in the closet, I say, keeping my voice conversational. From your Buffalo trip. You remember that trip, right? February? Your cousin's bachelorette party? Of course I remember. She tries to turn, but I hold the scarf in place, not tight, just firm enough that she has to stay facing the stove. You went for a walk alone. Said you needed air. I lean closer, bringing my face near the fabric. Funny thing about cashmere, it really holds on to smells. Her breathing changes. I can see her pulse in her neck, just above the scarf's edge. I don't... Acqua di Parma Colonia Essenza, I continue, as if she hasn't spoken. Retails for about $170 a bottle. Not cheap. Not the kind of thing someone wears casually. I pause, then start listing names like I'm reading from a register. There was Beth from accounting at the Spring Mixer. And James. He's the owner, right? Then those 2 junior designers, Kevin and Paul. And Derek Lawson. Senior designer. Your colleague on the Pemberton project. The spatula clatters against the pan. Derek wears expensive cologne, I say. I checked. Went to Nordstrom yesterday. Tested every bottle in the men's section until I found the match. Same scent that's all over your scarf from Buffalo. Which is interesting because Derek wasn't at the bachelorette party. Was he? Tyler, was he in Buffalo? I ask, still conversational, still calm. Did you go for a walk alone or did you go for a walk to meet someone? Someone who got close enough that his cologne soaked into your $200 scarf? She pulls away from me, spinning around. Her face has gone pale except for 2 spots of color high on her cheeks. You're being crazy. Am I? I drape the scarf over my own shoulders now, like a prize. Because I've got this scarf that smells like another man's cologne. I've got photos from your spring mixer showing you standing very close to Derek Lawson. I've got your Instagram stories mentioning him by name at least a dozen times in the past 4 months. And I've got a wife who's suddenly very defensive about a simple question. It's a work party. People wear cologne. I probably brushed against someone. This isn't brushing against someone's smell, Emma. This is prolonged contact smell. This is someone wearing this scarf, or someone holding someone who's wearing this scarf, or... Stop it, her voice cracks. Just stop. You stop, I say quietly. You stop lying. You stop pretending. You stop acting like I'm stupid enough to believe that you went for a winter walk alone in Buffalo and came back smelling like Derek Lawson's expensive aftershave. The pancakes are burning. Neither of us moves to turn off the stove. I want you to leave, she whispers. This is my house too. I fold the scarf carefully, precisely. But don't worry, I'm going out. I have some errands to run. When I get back, we're going to have a longer conversation. One where you tell me the truth. I walk out before she can respond, the scarf still in my hands. The hunting supply store is 40 minutes outside Scottsdale, far enough that no one I know will see me. The clerk doesn't blink when I ask for skunk essence. Apparently it's common enough for training hunting dogs. This stuff is potent, he warns, ringing up the small bottle. You'll want to handle it outdoors. Gets on your skin, you'll smell it for days. Perfect, I say. I drive 3 blocks before pulling into a CVS parking lot. My hands shake as I grip the steering wheel, the bottle of skunk essence sitting in the passenger seat like a loaded weapon. The scarf is still balled up in my jacket pocket, reeking of Derek Lawson's expensive taste. I pull out my phone and navigate to Emma's interior design firm's website. Lawson Design Studio. Boutique firm, 8 employees, located in a converted warehouse in downtown Scottsdale. I click through to their contact page and find the address. 1847 North Scottsdale Road, Suite 200. The staff directory loads. There he is, Derek Lawson, senior designer. His professional headshot shows the same lean face, the same confident smile I've seen pressed against my wife's neck in 43 photographs. The bio mentions he joined the firm 18 months ago after relocating from San Diego. Specializes in high-end residential projects. Won some award I've never heard of. I screenshot everything. Then I open the Photos app and scroll back to the iCloud album I downloaded months ago. I find the clearest shot of Derek's face and save it to a new folder. Then I create a simple shipping label on my phone using a fake return address, some random street in Phoenix I pull from Google Maps. The plan crystallizes as I sit there in the CVS parking lot, watching a mother load groceries into her minivan while her toddler screams about wanting candy. I need a box. I need Emma's name tag from the firm, the one she leaves clipped to her purse. And I need to not get caught. At 11:30 a.m., I pull into our driveway. Emma's Audi is gone. She texted 20 minutes ago saying she needed to clear her head, that she was going to Ashley's. The message was cold, defensive. You're being paranoid and cruel. I need space. I don't respond. Inside, the house still smells like pancakes. The kitchen is immaculate. She cleaned everything before leaving, probably to maintain the illusion of normalcy, of being the wronged party. Her purse sits on the counter where she always leaves it. I find her Lawson Design Studio name tag clipped to the inside pocket. It's a brushed metal rectangle with Emma Bennett, engraved in clean sans serif font, the company logo in the corner. I slip it into my pocket. In the garage, I locate a small shipping box left over from Christmas, about the size of a shoebox. Perfect. Back in the kitchen, I lay everything out on the counter like surgical instruments. The box, the scarf, the bottle of skunk essence, the name tag, packing tape, the printed shipping label. I put on latex gloves from under the sink, the ones Emma uses when she dyes her hair. The skunk essence comes in a small brown bottle with a dropper. The label warns against indoor use. I unscrew the cap and immediately understand why. The smell hits me even before I extract any liquid. A concentrated wave of sulfurous rot that makes my eyes water. I hold my breath and squeeze the dropper, saturating the burgundy cashmere with 15 drops. The fabric darkens where the oil soaks in. I add 15 more for good measure, then seal the bottle and step back. The smell is apocalyptic. It fills the kitchen in seconds, a physical presence that seems to coat my throat. I quickly fold the scarf, place it in the box, and attach Emma's name tag to the fabric with a safety pin. Then I seal the box with packing tape, working fast, and affix the printed label. Recipient: Derek Lawson, Lawson Design Studio, 1847 North Scottsdale Road, Suite 200, Scottsdale, AZ 85251. I carry the box outside at arm's length, load it into my trunk, and drive straight to the UPS store on Shea Boulevard with all the windows down. The clerk, a college-aged kid with acne and a name tag that says Brandon, takes the box without comment. Ground shipping okay? Perfect. Should arrive Thursday or Friday. I pay cash, take the receipt, and leave. Thursday afternoon, I'm in a client meeting when my phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. I ignore it until the meeting ends at 3:15 p.m. The message contains a photo. Emma's name tag sitting on a reception desk next to a vase of flowers. Below it, a single line of text. Tell your wife her package caused an evacuation. Building management is pissed. Don't contact this office again. I delete the message and block the number. At 4:47 p.m., Emma calls. I'm in my car, heading home. Did you do something? Her voice is shaking. Derek just quit. He won't say why, but someone said there was an incident at the office, something with a package addressed to him, and now he's just gone. Tyler, did you? I have no idea what you're talking about. You're lying. This is insane. You're ruining my career over nothing. Over a scarf that probably picked up cologne from someone at a party months ago. You're paranoid and I want a divorce. Silence. I've already consulted an attorney, I continue, my voice steady. I have documentation, all of it. The photos, the metadata, the hotel receipts I found on the Amex statement you thought I didn't check. The text messages I recovered from the iPad you forgot syncs with your phone. Everything. Her breathing goes ragged. Tyler, I'm filing next week. You can contest it if you want, but I'd recommend you don't. My attorney says Arizona's a no-fault state, but judges still consider conduct when it comes to asset division and custody arrangements, especially when there's evidence of deception and… Stop. You'll receive the papers at work. Seemed appropriate. I hang up. That evening, I stand in our backyard as the sun sets over the desert, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink that would normally seem beautiful. The fire pit is already loaded with kindling and lighter fluid. I carry out Emma's winter coats one by one from the hall closet. The cream-colored wool pea coat she wore in Buffalo. The black puffer jacket with the fur-lined hood. The camel cashmere blend she bought at Nordstrom 2 years ago for $600. I drape them over the fire pit like funeral shrouds. The match catches on the second strike. I drop it onto the pile and step back. The lighter fluid ignites with a soft whoomp, and flames climb the fabric quickly. The synthetic materials in the puffer jacket melt and hiss. The cashmere smolders, releasing a smell like burning hair. The peacoat's wool resists at first, then surrenders to the heat. I watch until there's nothing left but ash and the metal zippers, warped and blackened. Emma's Audi pulls into the driveway at 8:23 p.m. I hear her come through the front door, hear her footsteps moving through the house, searching. She finds me on the back patio sitting in one of the deck chairs, drinking a beer. "What did you burn?" Her voice is hollow. "Your winter coats. Figured you won't need them anymore. Arizona doesn't get that cold, and I doubt you'll be visiting Buffalo again anytime soon." She stares at the smoldering fire pit, then at me. Her face is blotchy from crying, her ponytail askew. "You're insane." "Maybe, but I'm not a liar." "Where am I supposed to go?" "Ashley's, a hotel. Derek's place, if he hasn't blocked your number yet." I genuinely don't care. "The girls are at my mother's for the weekend. They'll stay there until we figure out a custody arrangement. My attorney says I have a strong case for primary custody given your instability." "My instability?" Her laugh is bitter, verging on hysterical. "You just burned my clothes and sent a biological weapon to my workplace, but I'm the unstable one?" "I sent a scarf. What happened after that is between Derek and building management." She opens her mouth, closes it. Her hands clench and unclench at her sides. "I'll be staying at a hotel," she finally says. "I'll get my things tomorrow." "Take your time. I changed the locks an hour ago." I set a new house key on the patio table between us. "This one works. You have until Sunday at noon to collect whatever you need. After that, anything left behind gets donated or disposed of." She picks up the key with trembling fingers. "I never meant..." "Don't." She leaves without another word. The divorce papers are filed on Monday. Emma contests nothing. Her attorney, some guy named Robert Finley who works out of a strip mall office, calls mine on Wednesday to discuss settlement terms. By Friday, we have a preliminary agreement. I keep the house, the majority of our savings, and primary custody. Emma gets her car, her 401k, and every other weekend with the girls. She also gets to explain to Olivia and Sophie why Daddy and Mommy aren't living together anymore. My attorney, Jennifer Paulson, calls me at 5 p.m. to confirm the terms. "This is about as clean as these things get," she says. "She's not fighting you on anything. That's unusual." She knows she can't win. Still, most people try anyway. Pride, spite, whatever. She's just folding. Maybe she's tired. Or smart enough to know when she's beat. Jennifer pauses. "The coat burning thing, though, that could have gone badly for you if she'd wanted to push it. Destruction of property, even marital property, can complicate things. She won't push it." "No, she won't. But Tyler, going forward, maybe stick to legal channels." "Noted." I hang up and open my laptop to check my bank account. The money I'd set aside for Emma's birthday trip to Napa, $3,200, is still sitting there, untouched. I transfer it to my personal checking and start browsing men's winter coats online. Buffalo gets cold this time of year, and I've always wanted to see Niagara Falls. The FedEx tracking notification pings my phone at 9:47 a.m. on a Thursday, 3 days after I changed the locks. Package delivered to Westbrook Design Associates, signed for by reception. I'm in my home office, the same chair where this started, watching the cursor blink on a sales forecast I haven't touched in 20 minutes. The notification feels like confirmation of something, though I'm not sure what. Justice? Petty satisfaction? The beginning of consequences that actually stick? My phone buzzes again. Not a notification this time. A call from an unknown Buffalo number. I let it ring 4 times before answering. Tyler Bennett. "Mr. Bennett, this is Detective Lauren Walsh with the Buffalo Police Department. Do you have a few minutes?" My stomach drops, but my voice stays level. "Of course." I'm calling regarding a package delivered to Westbrook Design Associates on Tuesday morning. The contents triggered a hazmat response and building evacuation. We're conducting interviews with anyone who might have information about the sender. I lean back in my chair, processing. Hazmat response. Building evacuation. Bigger than I'd anticipated. I'm not sure how I can help, I say. I'm in Arizona. The package was sent from a FedEx location in Scottsdale. It was addressed to a Derek Lawson but included a name tag belonging to Emma Bennett. Our understanding is that Mrs. Bennett is your wife? Soon to be ex-wife, I correct. We're divorcing. I see. Papers rustle on her end. When did you last see the name tag in question? I haven't seen Emma's work name tag in months. She keeps it in her purse, I assume. Why would someone send something to her coworker? The detective's pause stretches long enough that I can hear keyboard clicks. Mr. Bennett, were you aware that your wife and Mr. Lawson were involved in a personal relationship? I let 3 seconds of silence hang there, counting them. I discovered evidence of an affair approximately 2 weeks ago. That's why we're divorcing. And you were aware Mr. Lawson was the individual involved? I identified him through photographs I found on a shared cloud account. Emma worked with him at Westbrook. More typing. Have you had any contact with Mr. Lawson? No. I've never met him, never spoken to him, never sent him anything. Each word lands clean and true. What about the name tag? Do you know how it might have been separated from your wife's possession? I stand, walking to the window overlooking our backyard. The fire pit still holds remnants of burnt fabric, though I'd raked most of the ash into the landscaping. Detective, my wife moved out of our home 9 days ago. She took clothing, personal items, whatever she could fit in her car. It's possible she lost track of some things in the chaos. I certainly haven't inventoried her accessories. When did you last see your wife? Last Thursday evening. She came by to pick up more belongings while I had the girls at soccer practice. I wasn't present. Has she mentioned anything about the package to you? We're not speaking except through attorneys. The divorce is contentious. I pause, letting concern color my tone. Is Emma in some kind of trouble? Should I be worried about my daughter's safety? No, sir. Mrs. Bennett isn't a suspect. We're simply trying to establish the chain of custody for certain items. The detective's voice softened slightly. The package contained a scarf saturated with skunk essence. Caused quite a scene at the office. Skunk essence? I inject the right amount of confusion. Like, from an actual skunk? A commercial product, actually. Available online or at hunting supply stores. Used to train dogs or cover human scent while hunting. That's bizarre. Who would do something like that? That's what we're trying to determine. Another pause. Mr. Bennett, do you own any hunting supplies? Have you purchased skunk scent or similar products recently? I don't hunt, detective. I sell medical supplies, catheters, surgical equipment, that kind of thing. The closest I get to wildlife is our golden retriever. Have you made any purchases from outdoor or hunting retailers in the past month? No. You're welcome to check my credit card statements. My attorney has copies for the divorce proceedings. I hear her writing something down. One more question. Do you know why someone might target Mr. Lawson specifically? This is the moment. I keep my voice thoughtful, helpful. I really couldn't say. I don't know anything about his personal life beyond what he did with my wife. Maybe he has enemies? Or maybe this is related to Emma somehow. A friend who found out about the affair and wanted to make a statement? People do crazy things when they're angry. Has your wife mentioned friends being upset on your behalf? Like I said, we're not speaking. But Emma's best friend Ashley was pretty vocal about her disapproval when the affair came out. I'm not suggesting she'd do something like this, but emotions run high in these situations. More typing. Ashley's last name? Brennan. She lives in Tempe, works in pharmaceutical sales. I can get you her contact information if it helps. That won't be necessary right now. Mr. Bennett, if you think of anything else that might be relevant, please give me a call. She recites a phone number I don't bother writing down. Of course, detective. I hope you find whoever did this. Sounds like it caused a lot of disruption. 12 people treated for nausea. Building closed for 6 hours. Commercial cleaning crew brought in. Mr. Lawson submitted his resignation the same day. He quit? I let surprise register. Over a prank package? According to his statement, he felt unsafe continuing employment there. The package was addressed to him personally, included a name tag from a colleague he'd worked closely with. He interpreted it as a threat. That seems extreme. People respond differently to perceived threats, Mr. Bennett, especially when they feel exposed. Her tone shifts, becomes more formal. Thank you for your time. We'll be in touch if we have additional questions. She disconnects before I can respond. I set the phone on my desk and stare at it for a full minute. Hazmat response. 12 people treated. Building closed for 6 hours. Derek Lawson scared enough to quit immediately. The revenge exceeded specifications, and I feel nothing but cold satisfaction. My phone buzzes again. A text from Emma's attorney, Diane Pruitt. My client requests access to the house Saturday 10 a.m. to retrieve remaining winter clothing. Will you be present? I type back. Winter clothing was disposed of per property division rights. She abandoned items for 9+ days. AZ law allows disposal of abandoned property after 7 days. The response comes within 30 seconds. You burned her coats? Are you serious? Disposed of abandoned property in accordance with state law. She's welcome to visit Saturday to confirm no winter items remain. 3 dots appear, disappear, appear again. Finally. This is vindictive and childish. This is legal and final. 10 a.m. Saturday works. I'll be present. I silence my phone and return to the sales forecast, actually focusing this time. The numbers blur into columns of data, predictable and manageable. Regional projections for Q3, hospital contracts renewing in Phoenix and Tucson, a new surgical center opening in Flagstaff. My work email pings, a message from Jerry Kaplan, my boss in Chicago. Tyler, touching base on the Buffalo territory expansion. Still interested in leading the Northeast Regional Assessment? Would need you there for 2 to 3 weeks starting mid-June. Hotel, per diem, full expenses. Could position you well for VP consideration. I read it twice, then a third time. Buffalo, 2 to 3 weeks. Mid-June. The timing feels like something more than coincidence, though I know it's not. Jerry mentioned this possibility back in March, before everything imploded. Before 43 photographs. Before burgundy cashmere and aqua di Parma. Before skunk essence and building evacuations. I type, definitely interested. Send me the preliminary scope and I'll review this week. His response is immediate. Perfect. This could be big for you, Tyler. Fresh start, new territory, serious upward mobility. Fresh start. The phrase sits there on my screen and I think about Detective Lauren Walsh's voice on the phone, about Derek Lawson's resignation, about Emma showing up Saturday to see the empty closet where her winter coats used to hang. I think about Buffalo in June, about walking streets where Emma walked with him, about the hotel where she claimed to stay alone during that conference, about the specific intersection where she said she took her winter walk alone and came back smelling like someone else's cologne. I close my laptop and walk downstairs to the kitchen. The house feels larger now, emptier. Emma took the decorative pillows from the couch, the ceramic bowl from the entryway table, half the artwork from the walls. The spaces she left behind are more noticeable than what remains. In the garage, I find the box I'm looking for on the 3rd shelf. Old winter gear from when we lived in Minneapolis during our first year of marriage. My heavy parka, thermal gloves, A wool scarf I haven't worn in a decade. I pull out the scarf, navy blue with gray stripes. It still smells faintly of mothballs in storage. Buffalo in June won't require winter clothing, but I fold the scarf carefully anyway and set it aside. Just in case. The flight to Buffalo lands at 4:17 p.m. on a Tuesday, 3 weeks after I mail the scarf. The June air hits different here, humid, thick with the promise of thunderstorms rolling in off Lake Erie. I collect my rental car, a nondescript gray Nissan Altima, and drive to the Hampton Inn on Delaware Avenue where the company booked my room. I don't unpack immediately. Instead, I sit on the edge of the bed and pull out my phone, scrolling through the folder I've labeled Work Files, innocuous enough if anyone glances at my screen. Inside are screenshots, carefully organized. Emma's cousin Jessica's Instagram. The bachelorette party photos from February. The Hyatt Regency where they stayed. And most importantly, the geotag data I extracted from those original iCloud photos before Emma deleted the album. February 16th through February 18th. The mansion on Delaware Street, not the Hyatt where the bachelorette party officially stayed. Room 304. I'd called the mansion last week, posing as a corporate travel coordinator. Yes, we have records for that weekend, the booking manager told me. Would you like me to email the invoice? That won't be necessary, I'd said. Just confirming the dates for our audit trail. But I'd learned what I needed. Derek Lawson's credit card. 2 nights. Upgraded suite. Now I'm here, and the scarf I packed sits folded in my carry-on, still faintly holding the lavender scent I sprayed it with to mask any lingering skunk essence. Just a normal winter scarf. Nothing suspicious about bringing one to Buffalo in June. The Lawson Design Studio has a Buffalo office. I discovered this 2 days after the skunk incident, while Emma was still scrambling to find a lawyer who'd take her case. Their website lists it as their flagship location. Derek's father founded the company here in 1987 before expanding to Arizona in 2003. Derek returned to Buffalo. I confirmed this through LinkedIn, where his profile now lists him as Senior Designer, Lawson Design Studio, Buffalo, NY. No mention of Scottsdale. No mention of why he left. I drive past the office Wednesday morning on my way to my actual work appointment. It's in the Elmwood Village, a renovated brick building with large windows and a tasteful bronze plaque. Derek's BMW, I recognize the license plate from Emma's photos, sits in the small parking lot beside the building. My meeting with the hospital procurement director runs until 2:30 p.m. Professional, productive, exactly what the company sent me here to accomplish. I close a contract extension worth $340,000 annually and send the confirmation email to my boss before I leave the building. Then I drive back to Elmwood Village and park across the street from Lawson Design Studio. Derek emerges at 5:47 p.m., jacket slung over his shoulder, phone pressed to his ear. He's laughing at something, that same easy smile I saw in 43 photos. The tribal tattoo peeks from beneath his rolled sleeve. He doesn't notice me. Why would he? I'm just another car on a busy street in a city he probably thinks is safe, far from the consequences he left behind in Arizona. I follow him. Not closely. I learned this from watching detective shows with Olivia, who loves crime procedurals. Stay back 3 or 4 car lengths. Don't make obvious turns. If he stops, drive past and circle back. He doesn't stop. He drives north on Elmwood, then west on Amherst Street, finally pulling into the parking lot of a modern apartment complex called The Chandler. 4th floor, corner unit. Lights come on at 6:03 p.m. I park in the visitor section and wait. The thing about Buffalo in June is the twilight lasts forever. The sun doesn't fully set until after 9, and even then, the sky holds onto a pale gray blue for another hour. I sit in the Altima with the windows cracked, watching Derek's apartment, thinking about timing. At 7:32 p.m. he emerges again, now wearing running clothes. He stretches against his BMW for 3 minutes, then jogs east toward Delaware Park. I wait 15 minutes. Then I get out of my car carrying a padded envelope I prepared in my hotel room this morning. Inside is a burner phone I bought at a Walmart in Scottsdale before I left, activated with a prepaid card purchased with cash. Also inside, a printed photograph. It's from Emma's deleted album. The two of them at the mansion on Delaware Street, champagne glasses raised, Emma's burgundy scarf draped over the chair behind her. I'd printed it at a FedEx in Phoenix, paying cash, wearing a baseball cap pulled low. On the back, I've written in block letters with my left hand. The scarf remembers, so do I. The apartment building has a mailroom off the main lobby. No cameras that I can see. This is a mid-range complex, not luxury security. I find Derek's mailbox number 412 and slide the envelope through the slot. It makes a soft thump as it lands. I'm back in my car before Derek returns from his run, sweat-soaked and breathing hard, checking his phone as he walks. Thursday morning, I have breakfast at a diner on Hurdle Avenue. The waitress, a woman in her 50s with kind eyes and a Buffalo Bills pin on her apron, pours my coffee without asking. "Visiting?" she asks. "Business," I say. "Medical supply sales." "Long way from home for that." I smile. "Sometimes you have to go where the work is." She nods, like this is wisdom, then moves to the next table. My phone buzzes. A text from my lawyer, Brian Kowalski. Divorce finalized. Papers filed with court. You're officially done. I stare at the message for a long moment. 11 years, 2 daughters, a 4-bedroom house with a pool. All of it reduced to a court filing and a text message at 8:47 a.m. in a Buffalo diner. I type back, "Thanks, send final invoice." Then I delete the message thread and finish my eggs. Derek doesn't go to work Thursday. I know this because I drive past Lawson Design Studio at 9:15 a.m., and his BMW isn't there. I circle back to the Chandler and find it still in his parking spot. At 10:33 a.m., a Buffalo police cruiser pulls into the lot. I'm parked 4 spaces down, reading emails on my phone, looking like any other businessman killing time between meetings. The officer, young, maybe late 20s, walks into the building. He emerges 16 minutes later with Derek, who's gesturing animatedly, holding the padded envelope. They talk for another 8 minutes in the parking lot. The officer examines the envelope, the photo, writes something in a notepad. Derek keeps shaking his head, pointing at the envelope, then at his apartment. Finally, the officer hands everything back to Derek, says something that makes Derek's shoulders slump, and drives away. No arrest, no investigation. Just a report filed, probably labeled harassment or suspicious mail. Nothing the police can act on without evidence of a direct threat. Derek stands in the parking lot for 3 more minutes, staring at the envelope. Then he looks around, actually looks, scanning the parking lot, the street, the windows of nearby buildings. I don't move. I'm just a guy in a rental car, phone in hand, completely absorbed in whatever's on my screen. Derek goes back inside. Friday morning, Derek's BMW is gone when I drive past the Chandler at 7:45 a.m. I check the Lawson Design Studio lot. Not there either. I call the main number. A receptionist answers, "Lawson Design Studio, Buffalo office. How may I help you?" "Yes, I'm trying to reach Derek Lawson. Is he available?" "Mr. Lawson is out of the office today. May I take a message?" "No, that's fine. I'll try again next week." I hang up and sit in my car outside a coffee shop on Elmwood, drinking a medium roast and watching the morning commuters hurry past. My phone buzzes. An email from Detective Lauren Walsh in Scottsdale. "Mr. Bennett, following up on our conversation regarding the incident at Lawson Design Studio. We've closed the investigation due to insufficient evidence to pursue charges. Thank you for your cooperation. I read it twice, then delete it. The coffee tastes bitter, but I finish it anyway. Saturday, I drive to the mansion on Delaware Street. It's a beautiful building, historic brick with white columns and manicured gardens. A couple is taking wedding photos on the front lawn. The bride's dress brilliant white against the green grass. I park across the street and look up at the third-floor windows. Room 304 would be on the corner, facing Delaware. I imagine Emma and Derek there in February, snow falling outside, champagne on ice, her burgundy scarf tossed carelessly over a chair. My phone rings. Olivia's face fills the screen. A photo from last summer at the pool, her smile gap-toothed and genuine. "Hi, sweetheart," I answer. "Dad, when are you coming home?" "Next Friday, just one more week." "Mom says we're going to stay with Grandma next weekend. She says she has to look for a new apartment." I close my eyes. "That sounds fun. Grandma makes those cookies you like." "The snickerdoodles." "That's right." We talk for 6 more minutes. She tells me about soccer practice, about Sophie losing another tooth, about the science project she's planning for next year. Normal things. Good things. When we hang up, I sit in the car for another 20 minutes, watching the wedding couple pose and smile, the photographer directing them into different arrangements. Then I start the engine and drive back to my hotel. Derek Lawson can wait. I have all the time in the world. I'm sitting in a rental car outside the Chandler at 11:47 p.m. when Derek's lights finally go dark. He's been pacing. I've watched his silhouette move back and forth across the window for the past 40 minutes, occasionally stopping to look outside. The police report Detective Walsh filed sits in my briefcase. I have connections at the department who owe me favors from a medical supply contract I pushed through last year. The report lists Derek's statement. Harassing package, unknown sender, possible connection to former colleague's ex-husband. Former colleague's ex-husband. Like I'm some abstract threat, instead of the man whose wife he screwed in hotel rooms across 2 states. I start the engine and drive back to my hotel. Not the Hyatt, where I'm officially checked in under my own name with a legitimate paper trail of client meetings. The Holiday Inn Express near the airport, paid in cash 3 days ago under the name James Patterson. I grabbed it from a thriller novel in the Phoenix Airport bookstore. My phone buzzes. Emma. The girls are asking when you're coming home. Olivia wants help with her science project. I stare at the message. Emma's been doing this since the divorce papers were served, sending updates about the girls like we're co-parenting friends instead of 2 people who can barely stand to breathe the same air. Her attorney probably told her to establish a pattern of cooperative communication. Back Friday. Tell her I'll video call tomorrow after school. I don't mention that I'm in Buffalo. My calendar shows client meetings in Scottsdale all week. My assistant Karen confirmed my appointments, rescheduled 2 for later in the month, sent follow-up emails from my work account. I've been building alibis since I learned how easy it is for everything to fall apart when you're not paying attention. The Holiday Inn Express parking lot is nearly empty. I park in the back corner, away from the entrance cameras, and take the stairs to room 218. Inside, I've got Derek's life spread across the desk like a case file. His daily routine: leaves for work at 7:45 a.m., stops at Spot Coffee on Delaware Avenue, arrives at the office by 8:15. Lunch at his desk most days, sometimes the sandwich shop 2 blocks over. Leaves work between 5:30 and 6 p.m., stops at Wegmans every Tuesday and Thursday, home by 6:30. Gym on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. The LA Fitness on Elmwood Avenue. No girlfriend. No social life that I can detect. He's been a ghost since he quit the Scottsdale office, and now he's a ghost who knows someone's watching. I open my laptop and pull up the tracking software I installed on the burner phone I mailed to his apartment yesterday. It arrived this morning. I watched the delivery confirmation ping at 10:23 a.m. The package contained a prepaid smartphone, fully charged, with a simple note typed on plain paper. Keep this with you. You'll want to answer when it rings. The phone's GPS shows it's still in his apartment. He hasn't turned it on, but he hasn't thrown it away either. That's what I'm counting on. Curiosity is a powerful thing, especially when you're scared. I set an alarm for 6 a.m. and lie down on the bed fully clothed. Sleep comes in fragments. I dream about Emma's face when I wrapped the scarf around her neck at breakfast, the way her eyes went wide before the defiance kicked in. I dream about the 43 photos, the ones I've memorized down to the metadata timestamps. February 18th, 3:47 p.m. March 2nd, 8:23 p.m. March 15th, 2:15 p.m. The alarm jolts me awake. I shower, dress in running clothes and a baseball cap, and drive to Delaware Avenue. Spot Coffee opens at 6:30 a.m. I'm parked across the street by 6:45 watching the entrance. Derek arrives at 7:52 a.m., 3 minutes later than usual. He looks terrible. Dark circles under his eyes, shoulders hunched like he's trying to make himself smaller. He glances around before going inside. That nervous scan people do when they feel exposed. I wait until he's at the counter, then I dial the burner phone. Through the coffee shop window, I see him freeze. His hand goes to his jacket pocket. He pulls out the phone, stares at the screen showing an incoming call from unknown, and for 5 long seconds, he just stands there. Then he answers. "Who is this?" His voice comes through tinny and tight. "You know who this is." I keep my voice calm, conversational. The same tone I use with clients when I'm closing a difficult sale. I'm hanging up. I'm calling the police." "You already did that. Detective Walsh filed your harassment report. Case number 2024-18847. She's not going to help you, Derek. You know why?" Silence. He's moved away from the counter, standing near the window. I can see his reflection in the glass, the phone pressed to his ear. "Because you can't explain why someone would send you that photo without admitting what you did. And the moment you admit what you did, you become the bad guy in the story. Nobody helps the bad guy." "What do you want?" His voice cracks slightly. "I want you to understand something. That scarf you buried your face in while you were with my wife? That burgundy cashmere scarf that smelled like her perfume and your expensive cologne? She left it in our coat closet when she came back from Buffalo. From her winter walk alone." I let that sink in. "I found it. I traced the cologne to you. And now you're going to live with the same thing I've been living with, knowing that every single moment of normalcy is a lie. I'm sorry. We didn't mean for it to. Don't." The word comes out harder than I intended. "Don't insult me with apologies. You meant every second of it. You meant it when you took her to hotel rooms. You meant it when you kissed her in that restaurant. You meant it in all 43 photos I have saved on 3 separate hard drives." He's breathing fast now. Through the window, I watch him lean against the wall. "Here's what's going to happen. You're going to keep that phone with you, charged, always. And sometimes I'm going to call, maybe once a week, maybe once a month, maybe twice in one day. You'll never know when, but you'll answer because if you don't, the next package won't be a phone and a note. It'll be those 43 photos sent to your parents in Rochester, your brother in Syracuse, your college friends, everyone you've ever worked with. You can't. I absolutely can. And Derek, if you go to the police again, if you try to get a restraining order, if you do anything except live with this the way I have to live with what you did to my family, those photos go public. I'll create a website. I'll buy Google ads with your name. I'll make sure that anyone who searches for Derek Lawson finds exactly what kind of man you are." I hang up before he can respond. Through the window, I watch him stand there, phone still pressed to his ear, even though the line's dead. The barista calls his name, his coffee's ready, but he doesn't move. He just stares at the phone like it's a live grenade. I start the car and drive away. At 9:15 a.m., I'm in my actual hotel room at the Hyatt, showered and dressed in a suit, reviewing client notes for my 10:30 meeting with Buffalo General's procurement director. My work phone shows 3 emails from Karen, 2 from clients, 1 from my attorney about custody paperwork. My personal phone shows another message from Emma. Olivia's science project is on weather patterns. She wants to know if you can help her build a barometer. I type back, "Send me the supply list. I'll order everything and have it shipped to the house." Normal, cooperative. The kind of message that looks good in custody proceedings. At 10:30, I'm shaking hands with Gerald Thompson, discussing bulk orders of surgical supplies and delivery schedules. At 12:15, I'm having lunch with the hospital's chief of staff, talking about contract renewals and competitive pricing. At 3 p.m., I'm touring their updated surgical wing, taking notes on equipment needs. At 5:47 p.m., I'm back in my rental car outside the Chandler, watching Derek's apartment window. He came home 16 minutes ago. His lights are on. The burner phone's GPS shows it's still in his pocket. He's kept it with him all day, just like I told him to. I don't call, not tonight. Tonight, I just want him to wonder when it's coming, to feel his pocket buzz with normal calls and messages, and have that split second of panic each time. To go to sleep knowing that somewhere, I'm watching. The same way I went to sleep for 3 months while Emma was with him, not knowing that everything I believed about my life was fiction. My flight back to Phoenix leaves tomorrow at 2:35 p.m. I have one more client meeting in the morning. Then I'll return the rental car, check out of both hotels, and fly home to my daughters and my empty house and my carefully constructed new life. But I'll be back. Derek Lawson is going to learn what it means to live in the wreckage of someone else's choices. One phone call at a time. 6 months later. The call from Detective Walsh came on a Tuesday morning while I was making breakfast for the girls. Sophie wanted pancakes shaped like hearts. Olivia was reading at the table, already dressed for school, her science fair ribbon, first place for the barometer we'd built together, pinned to her backpack. "Mr. Bennett, this is Detective Walsh from Scottsdale PD. I need you to come down to the station today." My hand stilled on the spatula. "Is this about the divorce? Because that's been finalized for months." "No, sir. This is about Derek Lawson. He filed a complaint yesterday. Says you've been harassing him. Phone calls, surveillance, threats. He has phone records, timestamps, the whole thing." I flipped Sophie's pancake, watching the batter bubble and brown. "Detective, I haven't spoken to Derek Lawson. I don't even know where he lives now. He claims you've been calling him from burner phones, that you followed him to Buffalo. I was in Buffalo on business in June. My company can verify that. Client meetings, hotel receipts, expense reports. As for phone calls, I don't know what he's talking about. Have you traced these supposed calls?" Silence. Then, "The phones are prepaid, purchased with cash. Untraceable. Then how does he know they're from me?" Another pause. "He says you referenced specific details about his relationship with your ex-wife." I plated Sophie's pancakes, arranging them carefully. "Detective, a lot of people knew about that affair. Emma's friends, my friends, people at her office. Derek humiliated himself when he quit after that package incident. Maybe someone else decided to make his life difficult. Maybe he's paranoid and hearing threats that aren't there. Or maybe..." I let the thought hang. "Maybe he's trying to deflect from his own guilty conscience by blaming me." "Mr. Bennett, I have 2 daughters who need their father. I have a career I've worked 15 years to build. I have a life I'm trying to put back together after my wife destroyed our family. Do you really think I have time to chase some guy across the country making anonymous phone calls?" I could hear her pen tapping against her desk. "He seems pretty convinced." "He can be as convinced as he wants. Unless he has actual evidence, recordings of my voice, video of me following him, anything concrete. This sounds like harassment of me. A man trying to cause problems for the husband of the woman he had an affair with." The tapping stopped. "We'll need you to come in for a formal statement. I'll have my attorney contact you to schedule something. Brian Kowalski. You have his information from the original investigation. I hung up and served breakfast. Brian called me back at noon. They've got nothing, Tyler. Phone records from untraceable burners, claims of surveillance with no photos or witnesses, alleged threats with no recordings. It's all circumstantial and unprovable. So I don't need to worry. I didn't say that. I said they can't charge you with anything. But Tyler, his voice dropped. If you did this, you need to stop. Now. Before it escalates into something that can actually stick. I was in Buffalo on legitimate business. I made sales calls, closed contracts, stayed in company-booked hotels. Everything's documented. That's not what I asked. I watched through my office window as Olivia and Sophie played in the backyard with Biscuit, throwing a tennis ball that he'd never bring back. I haven't broken any laws, Brian. Fine, then keep it that way. He paused. The custody hearing is in 3 weeks. Emma's attorney is going to use anything they can find to paint you as unstable. Don't give them ammunition. After we hung up, I opened my laptop and navigated to an encrypted folder buried 3 levels deep in my file system. The burner phone's tracking data, call logs, photos I'd taken of Derek's apartment, his car, his daily routes. I selected everything and dragged it to the trash. Then I emptied the trash and ran a secure deletion program that overwrote the data 7 times. The phones themselves, 3 of them now, were in a storage unit in Mesa under a fake name, paid for in cash. I'd deal with those later. Smash them with a hammer, scatter the pieces in different dumpsters across the city. But first, one last call. I drove to a gas station 40 minutes outside Scottsdale, parked behind the building, and dialed Derek's number from the 3rd burner phone. He answered on the first ring. Stop. Please. I went to the police. I told them everything. Just stop. I know you did. And now you know what it feels like when the system can't help you. When the truth doesn't matter because you can't prove it. What do you want from me? His voice was ragged, desperate. I'm sorry. I've said I'm sorry. I quit my job. I moved back home. I haven't contacted Emma once since I left Arizona. What else can I do? I watched a family pull up to the gas pump. Father, mother, 2 kids in the back seat. The father got out and started filling the tank while the mother handed snacks to the children through the window. Normal. Intact. You can live with it, I said quietly. Every day for the rest of your life you can wake up and remember that you helped destroy a family. That 2 little girls had to learn their parents were getting divorced because their mother chose you over them. That's what you can do, Derek. You can carry that. I do. Every single day. Good. I paused, watching the family. The father was cleaning the windshield now, methodical and careful. This is the last time I'll call. Not because you went to the police, not because I'm afraid of getting caught, but because I'm done. You're not worth any more of my time. Thank you. God, thank you. But Derek, if you ever contact Emma again, if you ever come back to Arizona, if I even see your name pop up on her phone records, this starts over. And next time, I won't stop with phone calls. Next time, everyone you've ever known will see those 43 photos. Your parents, your clients, your future employers. Everyone. I hung up and removed the battery from the phone. Then I drove to 3 different locations and disposed of the pieces. Battery in a dumpster behind a restaurant, SIM card in a storm drain, phone body smashed and scattered in a construction site trash bin. The custody hearing went exactly as Brian predicted. Emma's attorney tried to paint me as controlling and vindictive, bringing up the burned coats, the changed locks, the aggressive divorce timeline. My attorney countered with Emma's infidelity, the evidence of deception, her instability, and poor judgment. He presented my work records showing steady employment and financial stability. Character witnesses, my boss, my neighbor, Sophie's soccer coach, testified that I was a devoted father and reliable person. The judge awarded me primary custody. Emma got every other weekend and alternating holidays. She cried in the courtroom. Real tears, not the calculated kind I'd learned to recognize. Her attorney put a hand on her shoulder, whispered something meant to be comforting. I felt nothing. That was 8 months ago. Now it's Tuesday morning again, and I'm making breakfast. Sophie wants scrambled eggs with cheese. Olivia is reading a book about weather systems, already thinking about next year's science fair. My phone buzzes. An email from Jerry. Congratulations on the VP promotion. Well deserved. New territory includes Northeast region. You'll be spending significant time in Boston and NYC going forward. Not Buffalo. I'd specifically requested that Buffalo be reassigned to someone else. Too much travel overlap with custody schedule, I'd told Jerry. He'd understood. I don't need to go back to Buffalo. Derek Lawson is someone else's problem now, his own mostly. The last time I checked his LinkedIn, he was still at his father's firm, still in Buffalo, still single. His profile photo showed him smiling, but I could see it in his eyes. The weight of carrying what he'd done. Emma is dating someone new, a divorced dad she met through Sophie's soccer league. He seems nice enough, shows up on time for pickups, doesn't try to overstep with the girls. I've run a background check, confirmed he has no criminal record, verified his employment. The girls like him, which is what matters. Dad? Olivia looks up from her book. Can we go to the Science Museum this weekend? Absolutely. Saturday work? Perfect. Sophie climbs into my lap, still in her pajamas, smelling like strawberry shampoo. Will Mom be there? No, sweetheart. This is our weekend. You'll see Mom next Friday. She nods and rests her head against my chest. Through the window, I can see our neighbor walking his dog. The mailman making his rounds. A landscaping truck pulling up across the street. Normal life. The kind of life that exists on the surface while everything underneath stays buried and quiet. I learned something through all of this, something I didn't expect. Revenge doesn't heal you. It doesn't make the betrayal hurt less or restore what was broken. The marriage is still over. Emma still made her choices. Those 43 photos still exist in my memory, even though I've deleted them from every device. But revenge does something else. It balances the scales in a way that the legal system can't. It makes the other person carry some of the weight you've been carrying alone. It transforms you from victim to actor, from someone things happen to into someone who makes things happen. Derek Lawson will never forget me. Every time his phone rings from an unknown number, there will be a split second of fear. Every time he meets someone new, he'll wonder if they know. Every time he considers starting over somewhere else, he'll remember that I found him once and could find him again. That's not justice, not the kind they teach in civics class. But it's a kind of equilibrium. A recognition that actions have consequences, even when those consequences don't come from courts or laws. The real question isn't whether what I did was right. The real question is whether I can live with it. And the answer, I've discovered, is yes. I can live with being the kind of man who methodically documented his wife's affair, who researched skunk essence and anonymous shipping, who followed another man across state lines and made him afraid of his own phone. Because I'm also the kind of man who makes heart-shaped pancakes on Tuesday mornings, who helps build science fair projects and shows up for soccer practice, who tucks his daughters in at night and tells them they're safe and loved. We're all multiple people at once. The trick is knowing which version to show the world, and which to keep locked away where only you can see it. Sophie finishes her eggs and runs upstairs to get dressed. Olivia marks her page and follows. I clean up the kitchen, load the dishwasher, wipe down the counters. My phone sits on the counter, silent and ordinary. No burner numbers, no encrypted folders, no tracking software, just a phone. Outside, the sun is rising over the desert, painting everything in shades of orange and gold. The girls are laughing upstairs, arguing over whose turn it is to pick the music for the drive to school. I grab my keys and my coffee, and I go upstairs to referee. Because that's what fathers do. We show up. We stay present. We protect what matters. And sometimes, when necessary, we make sure that the people who threaten our families understand there are consequences. But mostly, we just make breakfast and drive carpool and try to build something good from the wreckage we've been left with. That's the real ending. Not revenge, not justice, just the quiet, determined work of moving forward, one morning at a time.